everyone always says, oh, we've come so far. We have, to a certain extent, but we haven't. And I just think that person of color thing, it really does. It doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve the black community. It serves everybody else, apart from the black community, and it gives a false sense that we are a unit.
As a person of Chinese descent, I hate the word Chinese. I have to say it's a bogus kind of. I don't know. I could write a whole thesis about it. It's just meaningless, basically. I agree with a lot of that. I get quite frustrated with people of my own ethnicity. Because I'm quite out there, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I've been quite out there as a, I suppose, anti-racism campaigner, and I look around me and I don't see many people of my ethnicity involved in that struggle. It's really interesting with the corona racism thing that's come up recently, is there's people I know and people I see on Twitter going, I'm heartbroken by the anti-Chinese and anti-East Asian racism. Well, you can only have your heart broken by something you love. And what you're heartbroken about is your model minority card has been removed from you. Like, you've kind of got by, like, being this kind of, like, wedge, this model minority anti-black wedge, and that card has been relinquished from you now. And now you're getting, like, you're suddenly being woken up to the fact that you are an ethnic minority. And I think that you know, I get quite angry, quite upset about it. I mean, like, you know, it's interesting. There was a black theatre designer who kind of talked to me on Twitter one day. He said, "Yeah, East Asians never get involved unless it's about them." And I said, "Well, I do." And she said, she called me a unicorn. Now, I thought she'd been insulting. I think it was a compliment. It's like, you're the only one.
First thing I'm going to say is I'm speaking for myself. And I think that's important to say out loud. When we're talking about what's happening in terms of that people of colour thing, I totally agree. People of colour, BAME, the people who always get cut out are black people, 100%. And I think that's partly because the ways in which those terms are seen next to whiteness is, as long as I've got somebody of colour, then it doesn't really matter. So that's why you always have an Asian or a Southeast Asian or somebody like this come in. You will never actually get black people representing or leading in particular circles. It just won't happen.
This day and age, we actually see things that are happening, but we're still in that, we're still paralyzed. And I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about the world in general. The fact that French doctors felt so comfortable to be on, you know, to just say it with their full chest. Let's test out the drugs on Africans. It just shows how bottom of the, you know what I'm saying? How bottom of the shithole black people, black bodies are considered. I can't believe it. I can believe it and I can't believe it. And then it's like, okay, then what do I do? And this is why person of colour, BAME, all of these grouping terms, it makes me sick to the core. Because nobody is out here for us. Every other community is looking after themselves. And I'm not hating on them for looking after themselves, but let's not group. Because it's almost like we group us and they get, when there's benefits, they take the benefits. But it's not like if they, you know, they've got our backs in anything. We're still separated.
Quite insular, you know, just don't really think of themselves as people of colour.
One thing that I do appreciate about the Asian community is that they stay on code with each other. Like, black people can't even meet in private without somebody phoning and saying, "Oh, there's black people. I saw 20 black people going into a building." It's almost like every other. Do you know what I'm saying? Jewish people are allowed to do that. Indian people, Asian people, every other community are allowed to group together, have their own worship places, their own community centres, etc., etc. But black people are never allowed, and that's why the person of colour thing really, I think, is a distraction. It's a distraction that makes everyone think that we're moving forward, but we're not, because black people are still being kind of stepped on, and I don't know. There's a weird, like, it's like leave them alone. Leave them alone. You can't leave them alone. And at the same time, you want them to be involved in everything. You know, if something happens within the Black community, Black people have to be speaking up about it and be like, oh, that's bad, da 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 da. China are treating Africans like mad. No one's ever gone to any Chinese like celebrities or whatever and say, oh, you have to talk about this. You have to renounce what China are doing. But when it's Black people have to always be spokespeople for when things happen in our communities.
My issue has been recently with this, and I sent you a question whether Black people are treated differently to other groups when it comes to things like this. And I think this sort of proves the point.